students, in this part we are going to study about the enantiomers and diastereomers as part of the optical isomerism. So now we just summarize about the enantiomers and the diastereomers with the differentiating points. Enantiomers, as we understood, they are one or two stereoisomers. The two things are they are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, whereas diastereomers also contain the stereoisomers, but they are not enantiomers. That means they are not superimposable mirror images of each other. The second point is that the molecule should contain at least one chiral center if it is a enantiomer. In case of diastereomer, the molecule contains more than one chiral center. Next point, enantiomer have identical physical and chemical properties. Only the difference is they rotate the plane polarized light equally but in opposite directions. Whereas the diastereomers, they have different physical as well as chemical properties, and the pairs of isomers have opposite configuration at one or more of the chiral center, and also they are not mirror images of each other. The fourth point, which is for enantiomers, it is eligible, is if we take the mixture of two enantiomers, that is called as a racemic mixture. And if we see the rotation of the plane polarized light by this racemic mixture, then it is 0. Then in case of diastereomers, this type of racemic mixture is not possible. We'll take an example of a compound 2-bromo-3-chlorobutane. We can see there are number of asymmetric carbon atoms are present, and because of that, four possible stereoisomeric forms are possible because there are two dissimilar or two asymmetric carbon center, and therefore four different stereoisomeric forms are possible. So if we see in case of the first and if we compare the first with the second, we can see that these two are mirror images of each other. So because they are mirror images of each other, they are enantiomers. Similarly, third and fourth stereoisomers are also mirror images of each other, and hence they are also enantiomers. But if we see first and third or first and fourth, they are not mirror images of each other, and moreover they are not superimposable, so that is how they are diastereomers. Similarly, the second and third as well as second and fourth are also diastereomers. Another point which we will study in this class is nomenclature of optical isomers. There are two methods. The first simple method is DL system of nomenclature, which is actually a relative method of configuration nomenclature. Here, glyceraldehyde is used as a standard. Glyceraldehyde is having a similarity with carbohydrates, so it is used as a standard. So the two forms of glyceraldehyde are like this. We have drawn the structures in such a way that the chiral carbon is in the center. And then we have to locate the OH group. If the OH group is present at the right side of the asymmetric carbon atom, then this is D configuration. And in the second structure, the OH group is present at the left side of the asymmetric carbon atom, and therefore this is having L configuration, and this is how we can give the configuration as D or L. The second example of lactic acid, we have drawn the structure of lactic lactic acid by keeping the chiral carbon in the center. And in the first structure, if we see, the OH group is present on the right side of the chiral asymmetric carbon. So it is having D configuration. So it is D lactic acid. And the second one is L-lactic acid because OH group is present on the left side. Similarly, in case of glucose, which is having 6 carbon atoms, out of that 4 carbon atoms are chiral carbons. So, in this case, we have to take the carbon 4, that is the carbon which is having highest number as the asymmetric carbon atom, and that is the carbon number 5, and then we will see OH group. In the first structure, OH group is present on right side, so it is D-glucose, and in the second one, where the OH group is present on left side, so it is L-glucose. The second method is RS system of nomenclature. It is the actual three-dimensional arrangement of groups in the chiral molecule, and that's how it is absolute configuration. This is a newer and more systematic method which gives the better configuration to the optically active compounds. It was proposed by R.S. Khan, C.K. Ingold and V. Prelog, so also known as Khan-Ingold-Prelog system. To understand this system of nomenclature, there are 4 different steps. The first step is we have to rank the groups which are bonded to the chiral carbon, ranking as 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is done according to the sequence rule. So first let us understand the sequence rule. The first sequence rule is the groups or atoms are arranged in decreasing order of atomic number, and that is how here is an example of a molecule containing chiral carbon bonded to 4 different groups: iodine, bromine, chlorine and hydrogen. So we have to arrange them, or we have to prioritize them according to the decreasing order. So the group with highest atomic number will get the first rank. So here iodine will get first, bromine second, chlorine third and hydrogen fourth. Then in the second sequence rule, we have to follow this second rule. If the same groups are present on chiral carbon, like as form of the isotope. So here is an example of a chiral carbon which is bonded to iodine, chlorine and then hydrogen and then its isotope deuterium. So the first rank will obviously will be given to iodine, second to chlorine, then the third rank will be given to the heavier isotope of hydrogen, that is deuterium, and then fourth rank to the hydrogen. The third sequence rule is for those compounds in which the two groups are actually containing the same atom. Here is an example of a chiral carbon bonded to iodine, hydrogen, methyl and ethyl. Methyl and ethyl group contains the carbon atom. So in this case, priority should be given to the ethyl group because it contains the carbon atom bonding to the 2 hydrogen and 1 carbon, whereas in case of ethyl, the carbon atom is bonded to 3 hydrogens. So that's how the second rank will be given to ethyl, third to methyl and then fourth to hydrogen. The fourth sequence rule is for those groups which contain double or triple bond. Now double bond is considered as 2 different atoms are bonded to the chiral carbon. Triple bond means 3 different atoms are bonded to the chiral carbon, and accordingly then we can give the priorities as per the sequence rule. So that is about the first step of sequencing. Then the second step is viewing the molecule. So how we have to view the molecule is we have to view the molecule from the side opposite to the group of lowest priority. So how we will do that? In this case, uh, what we will do is the group of lowest priority we will keep away from us. That means it will not be visible to us. We can view only 3. And then in the third step, what we have to do is we have to view this the rank we have to view the ranking, the priority sequence of the remaining 3 groups we have to determine. So we have to move our eye from first rank to the second rank to the third priority rank. And if the eye moves anti-clockwise, then we have to give the configuration S to that particular stereoisomer. Here the meaning of S is left, that is sinister. So this is how we can designate S to the stereoisomer. If the priority sequence is clockwise, then the symbol R is used. R means rectus and the meaning of that is right. So we could understand if the priority sequence is anti-clockwise, then S, and if it is clockwise, then it is R. For example, 1,1 chlorobromoethane. Here we can see the priority sequence in the first one is clockwise. That means if we move our eye from bromine to chlorine to methyl group, then it is moving clockwise. So it is having R configuration, and the another enantiomer of 1,1 chlorobromoethane, the priority sequence is anti-clockwise and hence it is S, it is having S configuration. Next example is of lactic acid. We have drawn here the 2 enantiomers, and if we see the priority sequence from hydrogen COH to CH3, in the first structure it is going clockwise, so it is R, and in the second one it is anti-clockwise, so it is S. One more example of glyceraldehyde. Here again we can see in the first structure the priority sequence is clockwise, so it is R, and in the second one the priority sequence is anti-clockwise, so it is S. So that is how we can have the two systems of nomenclature, DL and RS system of nomenclature, and these are the few important questions from this particular topic which is important from the exam point of view. These are the few references. Thank you very much.